Introduction. The end of my marriage was an event that came suddenly and unexpectedly. It was rather like that scene in Alien, in which John Hurt is sitting contentedly eating spaghetti with the spacecraft crew, and then the infant monster bursts out of his chest, leaving everybody shocked and splattered. My ex-husband fell in love with someone else. And that's that. I can say, and that's that now, but I'm not going to pretend it didn't take time, and a lot of ups and downs to get here, to the point at which I'm able to use 3 words. At the time, it didn't feel real. We'd been married a long time. And then, when I started online dating, hoping to be cheered up, things became even more surreal. Life got quite Alice in Wonderland, as you will see. The journey I took, and I do think of it as a journey, was weird, hilarious, difficult, mind-boggling, nerve-wracking, and ultimately... But I'm not going to spoil it for you. I online dated for almost 2 years, and it isn't an exaggeration to say that it shaped the person I am now. A different person in various ways to the person I was. In many ways, I like her better than the old me. Dating was a strong medicine, taken in the hopes of softening the corners of a desperate sadness. It wasn't easy, drawing the line that ended the married years and declaring myself to be single. It wasn't that I bypassed the heavy drinking phase. When somebody announces that they're leaving you, it's a physical shock. It starts in your brain and reverberates through your bones. It might feel like being told you have a terminal illness, when in fact it's usually highly treatable, and in time you'll get better. First, there is denial. And then there is rage. And then there is acceptance. Denial is parasitical and tries to colonize you. And the rage that follows is like a baby cuckoo, perpetually hungry. And then there's acceptance, when you begin to want to make the best of getting up in the morning and carrying on. Renewal might follow. Renewal is a painful experience. It means being properly alive again, and trusting and vulnerable, and that can hurt. There came a point, having healed sufficiently, having moved on from the daytime vodka phase, daytime vodka while eating whole tubs of ice cream and crying over property search programs. It's distressing to be a cliché, but there you are. At which I thought, so now what? So now what is a good sign. It marks the first day of looking forward and not back. I'm not saying I stopped harking back, but I began to look ahead and think about what might happen next. I'd always imagined the future would be shared with my husband, and now there were many other roads, forking off over hill and dale and into the unknown. It occurred to me for the first time that I might not be unhappy for the rest of my life. I realized that it was all in my hands. I ditched the vodka, the dairy products stacked in the freezer, and daytime television. I had a haircut and colour, bought a dress and went to the bookshop. I sat on a park bench with my books in a bag, not all of them self-help either, tilting my face up to the early spring sunshine, and decided that I needed to meet new people. And by people, I mean men. The world was full of couples, and I wanted to be half of one of them. That was the mission. It was my own diagnosis of what I needed. I was heartbroken and needed a fix. I needed a heart fix. The world was full of couples busy being casually happy with one another. The young ones didn't trouble me, the kind who canoodled in cinema queues, but the midlife ones really bothered me, and particularly the silver-haired affluent couples holding hands in the street. There was a prime example in the coffee shop where I used to hang out at the weekend, a pair who were just back from holiday. They were talking about how much they were missing Island Light and their swimming pool. She was wearing the bracelet he'd bought her, and it was turquoise against her tanned arm.